In other world news, Russia and Ukraine continue to trade strikes overnight. This is the moment a residential building was hit in a Russian town in Tatarstan, over thousands of kilometers from Ukraine. At least 3 people were injured in the strike on the building. One of Russia's largest petrochemical plants was also hit, starting a fire. The plant produces plastics and rubber from oil and gas. And Russia has carried out drone attacks on Ukraine overnight. 3 people were injured when a home was hit in the south of the country. Drone strikes have also been reported in the Kyiv region. A huge fire broke out at one facility there. Let's bring in Audrey Macalpine in Kyiv for the latest. Let's start with the attacks against Russia from Ukraine and their impact. Audrey.
Yeah, Foley. So in terms of this petrochemical plant, Ukraine has not yet confirmed its role in these attacks, but it has for 2 other strikes, namely in Krasnodar, an attack on an oil refinery there, as well as a strike on a bridge leading into Crimea. Now, this is an example of Ukraine's new strategy. It's calling it a logistics lockdown, mid-range strikes anywhere over 30 kilometers from the front line, using these long-range drones and sometimes its very own other heavy weaponry to target things like oil refineries, bridges, logistics, roads, as a means of halting Russia's front lines operations. This is in addition to what we've heard of, this sort of tongue-in-cheek term, long-range sanctions that we've seen escalating over the past several months, where Ukraine is targeting Russia's oil refineries and oil industry. So these 2 strategies together are part of Ukraine's new longer-term strategy. We heard from the Defense Minister, Fedorov, who said that strikes over 30 kilometers in April doubled in the month of May, just really underscoring that. Now, there is mounting pressure from the international community, from Ukraine's European partners, to initiate direct talks between Moscow and Kyiv. And Ukraine's what Ukrainian leadership is saying is that it believes that these mid and long range strikes can help to push Russia to the negotiating table.
And Russia has carried out more attacks, Audrey, on Ukraine, drone attacks in the south especially.
It did. Over 117 drones were launched into Ukraine overnight. This is according to Ukraine's Air Force, who says that they intercepted 102 of these drones. Certain areas were hit in the north, the Sumy region, for example, which is on the northern border between Ukraine and Russia, as well as the southern city of Mykolaiv. We are hearing that apartments were damaged as a result of these drone attacks. And you know, these attacks, almost every night we're seeing continued drone and missile attacks on Ukraine. There was an interesting line from the Ukraine's secretary to NATO just recently, where she said that many of Ukrainians, though, really feel that the worst of the war is behind them. We've seen continual threats by Russia for massive attacks, and we have certainly seen the results of those actions here in cities like Kyiv, where ballistics continue to be the Achilles heel for Ukraine. But in terms of these drone attacks in other areas of the country, it's something that Ukrainians, unfortunately have become quite used to. But again, all of these back and forth, Ukraine striking Russia, Russian striking Ukraine, Ukrainians hope that there might be some movement on the diplomatic front, at least over these next few months. Foley.
Audrey Macalpine in Kyiv, thank you very much for bringing us the latest there.